am in the Faculty of Education, right? So we always be happy and looking forward to sing that song lah. That was considered as our karaoke session with the faculty. Alright, so that is an example of the type of meeting where the higher up will call their committee, the subordinate or the workers to share the information. Okay. Another purpose of meeting is to discuss about plans and programs. Okay, if you are assigned to, like for example, Wong, she used to be a president of a Mandarin Society. Is it Wong? No, not.
Yes, Miss.
Mandarin Society. So she was the president at that time. So she has to conduct, and she has to work together with her society to discuss certain plans and programs that the society wants to conduct at the school and whatnot. All right. And for this second purpose is a part of your assignment later that you have to discuss. All right. So these are meeting components that are important in formal meeting. First, you need to have a planning. Okay, you need to plan when you want to conduct the meeting. What is it that you want to discuss in the meeting? Okay, who do the plan? Normally, it would be the chairperson. Okay, but for the purpose of your assignment, although you are not the chairperson, you still have to get involved in this planning process. Okay, and then after you have planned when to conduct the meeting, where to conduct the meeting, what are the things that you want to discuss, you come up with a notice. Okay, and in the notice you need to list down all the agendas that you are going to discuss in the meeting. And then if that meeting is the second, third, or basically if it is not the first meeting, you need to have the minutes of the previous meeting. Minutes means report of the previous meeting. Okay, report of the previous meeting is called as minutes. Okay, dalam bahasa Melayu dia panggil minit mesyuarat. Okay, in English it is called minutes of meeting. Okay, where all the details that were discussed during the previous meeting is reported in that document. Okay, and then lastly, participant. Who will be involved in the meeting? You kena listkan nama setiap seorang, tak boleh tinggal. Okay, and when you are being called for the meeting, and meaning that your name is listed in the meeting, so you need to confirm your attendance, sama ada you datang atau tidak. Okay, if you cannot make it to the meeting, you tak boleh datang, tak boleh hadir, you have to inform the secretary or the chairperson why you cannot attend the meeting. Okay, so that it will if the person couldn't make it to the meeting, that will be reported in the minutes of meeting also. Siapa hadir, siapa tak hadir or not. Okay. Alright, so notice of meeting. What is notice of meeting? Okay, notice of meeting is a public announcement that an important meeting is happening soon. Okay. Currently, traditionally, okay, this minute of meeting is pasted in the bulletin board at the company. But now we have the email and everything, right? So those who are involved in the meeting will receive an email to notify them that they have to attend the meeting. Okay, so the participant cannot say that, oh saya tak dapat notice. Tak boleh. Okay, because normally if you are involved in the meeting, you will be receiving an email or you will receive some sort of notification. Because nowadays also, because there are types of people who doesn't really open their email. So some company also blast this type of the notice in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Like today, I announced that we are going to have a mid class, right? Itu also can be considered as a notice. Siapa yang perlu hadir? Setiap orang yang dalam classroom tu, yang apa? Registered as a student in my classroom. So you guys were notified that we'll be having class and you attended today's class, which is very good. You can pat yourself at the back. Okay? Although you can lazy lah. Why Miss Adadi last minute tell got class? I want to sleep. I'm hungry already. But never mind lah. Miss always share important things. I might miss a lot of things later, so I just come, for example. Okay. So notice of the meeting must be distributed at least 5 to 7 days before the set date of the meeting, in which I langgar just now. Alright. I did not notify you 5 or 7 days before, but for a big meeting like the one just which was it just now? Yes, annual general meeting, extraordinary meeting, committee meetings. Okay, you need to inform 5 or 7 days before. Remember back when you were in school kan? Whenever your teacher wants to do mesyuarat PIBG, remember? Those who went to boarding school, I don't know lah how it works. I went to daily school. So 1 or 2 weeks before, the teacher would start to distribute the surat. Siapa yang tak ada abang dan kakak kat sini? Then only she bagi. Right, she gave the surat to give to our parents to tell them that, oh, next week they'll be having mesyuarat PIBG. Or in English we call it PTA meeting, Parent Teachers Association meeting. Okay, so it must be done at least 5 to 7 days before, so that whoever needed to come to the meeting must clear their schedule and make time for the meeting. Okay, and the agenda of the meeting is usually included in the notice agenda. Things that are going to be discussed in the meeting is included. Dah cakap siap-siap dah. What are they going to discuss in the meeting? Okay, so in the notice, what do you include in your notice? So first, you need to include the date, the time, and the venue of the meeting. So these are the most important things. Kena bagi tahu masa, tarikh dan tempat. Okay, date, time and venue of the meeting. And purpose of the meeting. What is the purpose? Maybe the purpose is to appoint new committee members, to discuss a project, to discuss a progress. So that can be one of the purpose. And then meeting agenda, the breakdown of the items that they are going to discuss. Time limit for each agenda. You need to specify, especially when you don't have so much time to discuss, you need to specify. Agenda number 1, how many minutes are you going to allocate to discuss and whatnot. Okay, and who will speak or present report. Normally when they write down the agenda, okay, items that are going to be discussed in the meeting, they will highlight. Okay, in the notice it will highlight siapa yang akan bercakap, who will be talking about that particular item. Okay, whether the chairperson, whether the secretary, whether the one of the committee members. So it needs to be mentioned in the notice. Okay, as for the meeting agenda, this is how it looks like. Okay, chairman's opening address, apologies for absence, confirmations of minutes of the previous meeting. But this one, if it is the first meeting, you tak ada benda ni, tak perlu. Okay, the very first meeting yang pertama, tak perlu ada benda ni. But if it is your second meeting, third and so on and so forth, then you have to have this. Okay, and then matters arising, perkara berbangkit, other matters, lain-lain hal, and then closing address. In closing address, the chairman needs to inform when is it going to be the next meeting, when and where. Okay. Um, Matters arising is the main items that you are going to discuss, and other matters is matters that are not part of the um, main agenda, main things that you want to discuss. Alright. Okay. Example of notice of a meeting is included. You can refer to your Google Classroom for it. Because this is only for your uh, reference, so I'm not going to touch so much about it here, because on moving forward, we no longer ask you to produce and you will not be evaluated. It's just enough for you to know how does it look like. Okay. As for the minutes of meeting, okay, your minute should record names of the members who present, and it should who present at the meeting, yang hadir, and it should be arranged according to seniority. Seniority doesn't mean umur dia. No. If you are in a company, seniority means kekananan, meaning that bila you masuk when do you join the company. Okay, so for example, kalau you guys are having joining an MPP, for example, Persatuan Pelajar, right? So you want to write down all the participant of the meeting. So dia akan tulis berdasarkan seniority of the student. So you guys are senior kan? Part berapa? Semester what? Year 2 student Is it? Year 2 student? Part
Yes, Miss.
3?
Yes, Miss.
Huh? Boleh? This time berapa?
Sem first.
How do you count that you are senior student? Because last time when I was studying in Polytechnic, dia kira okay, you study for 3 years, you have to finish 6 semester, right? So we will be, if let's say we are in our second year, first semester, so we'll be part 3 student, semester 3 student. Faham? Macam budak darjah 5 kena budak darjah 3 kena hormat budak darjah 5. Right? For when I was studying in my university, it also follows the same system, meaning I studied there for 4 years, so I have to complete 8 semesters. Alright, so the senior will be semester 8 student. Semester 8, we don't call it semester 8, but we call it part 8 student. So the semester is apa? Kita panggil part lah, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 and whatnot. So I think you guys are part 3 students. And then your senior will be how many semesters that you have to complete here? 5. You also do. Apa you tahu? 4 semester to finish, to get the
Yes,
diploma.
Miss.
4 semester. 2 tahun je lah you study. Wow, fast track
2 year, 2.5.
2.5 years lah. Okay, so your final semester would be semester 5, part 5. So currently you guys are in part 3 lah. You also don't know. I lost already. Is it? Saya belajar je miss, janji saya grad. Is it? Alright, anyway. So that, coming back to the topic, that's how it should be arranged. Okay, the first person to join, so that will be, their name will be at the, among the top lah. Alright. And then the minutes also need to include important matters discussed in the meeting and what were the decision, and who will be in charge of each of the item. For example, you guys are discussing about a trip to Genting Highland, for example, and um, uh, in for this trip you have like what, five main committee for, and the one of the committee is transportation. Okay, and then you have decided that Fahmi is in charge of the transportation for this trip. So in the minute it needs to uh, uh, include, okay, siapa yang in charge dekat transportation, whatever decision involving the transportation part of the trip, Fahmi will be in charge. Fahmi will be responsible for it, to execute what everything that has been decided in the meeting. Okay. Alright, every item discussed and recorded should be followed by notes indicating any further action required or for information only. Okay. Also, the examples is provided in the Google Classroom, so you guys can check it out. Okay. So these are the most important thing that applicable for your assessment later. Okay. All meetings must have chairperson, a secretary, or note taker, also the other committee members of the meeting. So first, chairperson. So if you are working in a group later, group of 7 or 8, so how many chairperson? How many chairperson? Huh? Alia said one. Is it?
One
Can you
only.
have two chairperson?
No.
Why cannot? Can we have two chairperson? No, right? So you need to have only one chairperson, and for that you have to appoint. Okay, unanimously appoint, secara sepakat je appoint one chairperson. Okay, the role of the chairperson is to discuss with the secretary before sending the notice of meeting and prepare the agenda. Okay, as I said earlier, you guys might be big person, the bosses in your company later, right? So you need to know all these position and the role. Okay. As for the secretary, you need to prepare notice for the meeting, and then you also need to pay attention during the meeting to take down important points. Prepare the minutes of meeting. Okay. So for uh, in the future when you work, you might be having your own secretary where you don't have to do this. But if you decided to work as an admin, so this might be your responsibilities later, that you have to know and you have to know how to do it. Okay, as for the members, you have direct responsibility or authority over the topic of discussion. It needs to go through to go straight to the point of whatever you want to say, and you need to listen actively and give feedback when required, meaning that you have to actively participate in the meeting, as in if you are discussing about a plan, you need to listen and decide whether you want to agree or disagree. And there is expressions that you have to use to show your agreement and disagreement during a meeting. Okay. Prepare when you want to prepare for a meeting, you need to have a clear purpose. Okay, estimate. These are the things that we have discussed earlier. Okay. As for the members, once you get the notice, you need to read the notice and understand what are the purpose of the meeting, and find information if it is needed. Okay, sometimes in the notice it mentioned, okay, kita akan discuss pasal ni, and everyone needs to share their thought or suggestion. In that sense, you have to go and find out what are the things that you can suggest, what are the things that you can provide or give an input during the meeting. Okay, setting up the meeting. Okay, because this is during a pandemic, it is impossible for us to have a physical meeting, right? So, but if you have the chance in the future to have a physical meeting, this is how it looks like. You kena akan duduk dekat this oval table here. Alright. But for because it is done currently, it is during pandemic and the news is not memberangsangkan. Okay, many cases, new variants are started coming in, so we have to stick to the online session. So you have to make sure that the camera is on at all times so that we can see uh, who's your expressions. Okay, so for the procedure of a formal meeting. Okay, the first, chairman's opening address. Okay, this one, the procedure of a formal meeting ni important. These are the things that will be evaluated in the assessment later. Ni the mark breakdown will be explained to you later lah. But first thing, when you start your meeting, I will check whether the chairman do the opening address or not. Okay. What do you apa tugas chairman? Okay, chairman has to greet the members who are present and call the meeting to order. Call the meeting to order is not like what you see in the movie. Order, 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 ketuk, 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 no. Okay. You have to say that after you notice that everyone is here for the meeting, okay, and then you say, can we start the meeting? Can we start the meeting or can we have the meeting to order? So you cakap macam tu je. We know already that you are about to start the meeting. Okay. And then set the context. For example, by announcing the purpose of the meeting, okay, or set the context of the meeting. The easiest way would be after you greet, okay, thank you everyone for coming into today's meeting. Okay, the purpose of you being called for the meeting is, so you terus cakap you punya purpose of meeting here. Okay, if you have any new members, alright, this is the time for the chairperson to introduce it to the other group members. Okay, if not, you just proceed with the apologies for absent. Okay, where the chairperson will take the attendance. It's not like how I do it in the class, as in you call out one by the name one by one. You just check, okay, you just, how to say, acknowledge that the person is present for the meeting. Okay, and highlight you don't know anyone who are unable to make it. Perhaps some of the group members know, and then the person need to highlight, okay, kenapa orang ni tak datang, so that the secretary can jot it down and include it into the minutes later. Third one is confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting. Okay, where you read the previous minutes and passing of the previous minutes. Okay. Just like I mentioned earlier, if it is a second meeting and so on and so forth, then you'll be having this part. If not, you don't have. Also, even though it says here reading the previous minute, you read it silently. You don't read aloud. Macam absentees, this is no. You read it silently, each and every one of the group members, and then highlight if there is any mistake, if there is any problem with the reporting. Understand? Spelling, any spelling error. Contoh nama you salah tulis, for example, the decision made was different than how you attended, and the wrong person assigned. So you highlight everything. Why is it important for you to make sure that everything is according to what it has been discussed? Sebab if let's say you have a dispute in the future, ada gaduh-gaduh in the future, you want to bring the case to the court. Saman awak chairperson buat tak betul. Okay, so when you go to the court, they will refer to the minutes of meeting because that is also considered as official document. Okay, understand? So that's why you kena confirm the minutes. If there is any mistake, you kena highlight. Kalau you tak highlight, orang semua can when people say can we confirm the minute, maksudnya you setuju apa-apa saja yang dah ditulis atas minit tu, you setuju, semua orang dah sign, dah endorse, tak boleh dah. Apa pun yang tertulis atas tu dah dikira benar. It's considered true and any dispute after that dah tak terima dah. And to confirm the minute, you need to have someone to suggest to confirm. For example, Bonnie said when the chairperson said can we have someone to confirm the minute? So Bonnie said, saya cadangkan, I suggest that this minute to be confirmed or to be accepted. Okay, you need to have another person to second the motion, second the suggestion. So siapa nak second? Adilah second. Saya setuju. So nanti nama Bonnie and Adilah will be in the minute. Okay? Sebab orang yang setuju tu. Maksud it also means that Bonnie dah baca betul-betul, Adilah also dah baca betul-betul and agree. Understand? Itu the flow lah that you have to know. Alright? And then after you finish that confirmation, you will start to discuss the matters arising. The main point, the main things that you want to discuss. That's why you call the people to attend the meeting, right? Okay, matters arising from the previous minutes which involve all participants, the proceeding being monitored by the chairperson. Okay, if it is the first time, so that will be the it is no longer from the previous minute lah. You baru nak start discuss. Okay, discussing and making decisions on matters which constitute the objective of the meeting as stated in the agenda. Alright. Whatever you have mentioned, included in the agenda in your notice just now, those are the things that you'll be discussing. And then you move on to other matters where you introduce or raise any issues that are not discussed under matters arising. Okay, for example, it can be introduced by any participant. Okay, mana-mana. Kalau normally it always be introduced by the ahli lah, bukan chairperson. Sebab chairperson dia, of course dia fikir pasal ni je. Alright. Other matters means benda-benda yang maybe the chairperson overlook, terlepas pandang. So you highlight it here. Alright. And then setting the next meeting after you complete all the discussion and then you want to end, you are about to end the meeting, the chairperson need to decide on the date, time and venue of the next meeting. Okay. Kalau you tak sure when would be, you just give a rough timeline. Okay, we will have a progress meeting in 2 weeks time. A date and time will be informed, date, time and venue will be informed later. That can also be accepted as long as you have some sort of effort to set the next meeting. Okay, and then closing remarks by the chairperson. The chairperson thank everyone for coming to the meeting. And then you adjourn the meeting. The istilah is adjourn. ADJOURN. Adjourn the meeting. Okay. Tangguh meeting is called adjourn the meeting. Okay. Alright. How is it so far? Is it clear? Do you have any questions so far?
Not yet.
How many uh, what do you call this? Procedure of a formal meeting. How many steps that you have to complete? How many things that you have to complete? Hmm. How many? Baru je bincang. Ish, anda ni. First, grade. Is it? Second,
Wait.
second. Hmm.
Gather data.
Huh?
Gather data.
My God, Atta. Ha. First, chairman opening address. Second,
Apologies of absence.
yes, apologies of absence. Third,
Confirmations of minutes.
confirmations of minutes. Number four, matters arising, other matters, setting the next meeting, and then lastly, closing remarks. You have
Okay.
to make sure you have all of these except for number 3. Okay, for the assessment later. Okay, so the rest of the slides is expressions that you should use if you do something in a meeting. For example, you want to welcome everyone and welcome. I'm glad that you all could make it to this meeting. Alright, and if you want to ask for apologies of attendance, okay, or you want to check the attendance, so the chairperson will say, are there any apologies for absence? Maksudnya you tanya ada siapa-siapa tak yang tak hadir. Apologies for absence means the person who cannot make it already informed the secretary he couldn't make it and why. Dia dah bagi tahu dah. That's why it is called apologies for absence. Okay. Minta maaf, siap-siap dah. Alright, and then or you can also use is everyone present today. Okay. And then to confirm the minute, so this is the expressions, but this one is not involving in the assignment later, so we can just skip it. Okay, so when you start to discuss the matters arising, okay, chairpersons has the responsibility to ensure that everyone has a chance to participate. Okay, because you'll be in a group of 8 to 7 members, right? So chairperson need to make sure that each and every one of your group members have the chance to speak, to discuss. Understand? Okay, kalau ada, if um, one of the group members did not say anything, especially normally this happens to the secretary lah, sebab dia fikir dia dah menulis, dia tak cakap pula. Okay, there is mark for that. So you have to make sure even the secretary need to get involved in the discussion, needs to say something during the discussion. If not, everyone's mark kena tolak. Understand? Okay, not only you have to lepaskan you punya diri je for the marks, but you also have to you also are responsible to make sure that each and every one of you get the chance to speak. Kalau yang suka tengok variety show from Korea tu kan, dia akan cakap everyone need to get their airtime, masa untuk menyinar. Okay, so be considerate of others, especially those you and the chairperson need to be aware lah. Okay, kalau ada ahli group yang dia memang suka bercakap, dia punya kelebihan, strength dia bercakap, you kena time dia. Okay, agak-agak dia dah lebih 2 minit tu, alright, thank you, you need to give signal to stop that person. Alright, okay, and sometimes if you notice that your group members are a little bit of shy, or trying to nak masuk tak boleh, nak mencelah tak boleh. So you can initiate. What is your opinion on that? What do you think of the idea after you deliver your point of view? Okay. And then okay. Also the role of a chairperson is to ensure that all members hear the discussion and let the members present their points and guide the process and acknowledge and reinforce constructive contribution. Okay, it means that whenever the group members deliver their point of view or deliver suggestion, chairperson needs to listen and then give the after the group members finish their point or their delivery, the chairperson needs to give some remarks or give some feedback to it. Okay, or summarize key points from time to time and ask for agreement from other members. Okay, sometimes group members tu dia nervous, dia cakap point dia je. Okay, that's all. So that is the role of the chairperson to summarize and give feedback and then ask the others. Okay, what do you think? Do you agree with that person? So, and then the person who been asked to has to highlight whether they agree or disagree. Okay. Then as for the closing, I think we have covered everything. So these are the expressions that you can use during your assignment later. Okay. So this one, I think you guys can read it on your own lah. And okay, tips dia. Especially when you guys are the type of nervous and not really confident in your delivery, okay, for a presentation. So what your senior did the previous semester, they would have some sort of script ready. But then again, you have to make sure that during the assessment, you are not reading. You should not sound monotonous. Kalau you nak read pun, you have to make sure Miss tak tahu you read. Understand? You punya feeling tu macam you cakap betul-betul. You have to make sure that. Okay? I don't mind if you have your script ready, but as long as it is not obvious that you are reading from your script. Okay? Understand? Clear?
Is clear.
Okay.
Clear, Miss.
Alright. So moving on to our first activity for today. Okay. Our first activity for today is I want all of you to log into your author now. Dan ready? Okay. Once you log in, go to group activities and you will notice that problem with this author is if you are idle for more than 1 hour, they will log you out. Kan? Okay. Okay. Okay, you go to group activities and you will notice that meeting group section 1. So right now I want to choose your group members. Okay, so you decide in which group that you want to join. Don't worry, kalau you group nombor 1 doesn't mean you go first. Kita shuffle nanti. Alright, so select. Kalau you rasa you have a specific person to work with, you message. Cepat-cepat kau lock nombor 1 tu dulu. Group 1 for example. Okay, do it now. So that I can make the schedule next week. Dan nanti Miss tengok. Okay, group 1 is full.
All groups already full, miss.
Group 2 is not, group 2 has 3 more available spot. Ada yang tak datang ke hari ni? Call here. Okay. Siapa tu? Siti Nurul Ain. Later you ask Shasha to update her name there. Also, nanti suruh Shasha bagi surat dekat saya cakap dia apa? Stranded in the flood. Later after the things settle. Kalau boleh tunjuk gambar flood tu. Okay? Alright. Anyone else? Except for Shasha. Siapa lagi? That you know of couldn't make it to today's class. Ada 3. So because the rest of the group are full, the remainings will have to join group 2. Okay? Alright. Senang je task minggu ni. Settle lah. Okay? Alright. Secret lah. Anyway, next I am going to explain to you about the assignment. Okay, so this is your last ongoing assessment. After this, we are done with English for Workplace. Basically, you guys are done with English. No more English course after this. Alright, so the thing that you have to do is form a group of 5 to 6 members or more, depending on me. Okay, you have done that. Next is that you have to select a leader to manage your group. Okay, select a leader. That one you do it after today's class. Alright, and then discuss and decide the role for each member in the meeting. Assign a person in charge for any task discussed and take down notes of important matters, which is you assign a secretary for this. In your respective groups, you will conduct an online meeting based on the situation given by your lecturer. Okay, discuss and brainstorm your idea in the meeting to solve the problem given, and you are required to conduct the meeting session using the following meeting conventions. So you have to have all of this during your meeting. First, you need to have an opening address and then confirmation of the attendance, main agenda, other matters and closing remarks. So this has to be in this flow. You tak boleh jumping of this meeting convention. Okay, please be reminded to use appropriate language in your meeting, in which if you have to go through the expressions that we have that is included in the slides just now. Okay, the meeting will be assessed via Meet session. Okay, marks will be given based on the meeting convention, students, participants and performance in the meeting. So that's why I say even though the chairperson is responsible to decide in most of the thing, but the group members also need to actively participate. You cannot be simply member je, dia nak sibuk jadi leader kan. Buatlah semua. Cannot like that. Okay. So if you did not participate, it affect the whole group members marks. Okay. Right, all group members should be able to contribute in completing the task above. Group leaders are responsible to ensure members' participation as well as keeping track of the progress of tasks. Any conflicts that take place in the discussion must be solved as a group. Okay, you guys have give a lot of solution last week during the interview session. Okay, how do you handle conflict as you are working in a group? Some said that you will discuss privately. Some said that you will give directive order. Up to you. As long as you are able to resolve the conflict and be able to work in a group properly. Okay, so the mark allocation is 50 marks for the meeting flow and then 50 marks for your language. Okay, so 50 marks for your language, it means that your individual marks. Language always individual marks. Okay, this one is group marks. So don't be surprised if later that your mark is different from your group members. Okay, because there is this part usually will determine the number of your marks. Okay, so this is the rubric. Chairperson greets the attending members and confirm the attendance. Discussion of the first main agenda. Okay, first main agenda is given here. Main agenda pertama you ialah to decide role and job scope of each of the group members. Okay, later I will show you the situation. Okay, you only need to choose one situation to be presented in your meeting later. Okay, you boleh sama ada nak buat trip to Bangkok or to create to conduct a program here in the UTHM. Okay, and then planning for each committee, meaning that what each committee plans to do for the project that you are discussing about. Okay, and then the rest you can read it on your own, and these are the forms of it. Okay, so now I am going to show you guys the first situation. Okay. Okay, the first situation is academic tour. Okay, so your club is planning to organize an academic tour to Bangkok. Your group is going to conduct a meeting on setting up a steering committee of the project. Discuss the job scope of the given committee below in making this academic tour a successful one. So you have to assume that this is your first meeting. You only have for now chairperson and the secretary. Sekarang ni you nak decide who will be in the logistic and technical committee, who will be in the itinerary committee, who will be in the welfare and safety committee, and then will be in the transportation committee. So that is main agenda number one. Second main agenda is to discuss planning for each committee in making this academic. So each committee later for the second one needs to come out. What are your plans to make sure that this tour is a successful one? Okay, understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Alright, so that is situation number one, set A. Okay, kalau if you tak naklah buat pasal Bangkok ni, kita bukan boleh pergi mana-mana pun. Okay, so you don't want to do this situation, you can use another situation to do your discussion, which is Okay, which is this open mic day event. Okay, basically the process of the meeting is the same. Okay, task 1 still need to decide the role of each committee members. Still, agenda 2 still need to plan for each committee. It's just that the event is different. Okay, you can just decide 2021. Alright, going to make so you win educational trip or open mic. Then yes.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so that one you will discuss after this, and write your write your answer, okay, in this week's task 2 at Google Classroom. Okay, any questions so far?
No, miss.
No? Okay, if you do not have any questions, let's recap. What is a formal meeting? So Hailey? So Hailey, are you there?
Yes, Miss.
Formal meeting. In your understanding, what does it mean by formal meeting?
In my understanding, it is a gathering of member of society to discussing some event or like that.
Some event, okay. Or any issue. So why is it considered a formal? Macam mana dia boleh jadi formal?
Because
Because you need to follow you need to follow the meeting conventions, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Arisha, Nur Arisha Abdullah.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, Arisha. What are the important meeting conventions that you have to follow for your assignment later? Arisha, what are the meeting conventions that you have to follow for your assignment later? Arisha? Arisha? No? Muhammad Daniel?
Yes, miss.
Muhammad Daniel?
What is the question? To convention meeting, right?
Yes. First?
First, trip to Bangkok, right?
No, that is the situation.
Situation.
Okay, to discuss the trip to Bangkok, what are the flow of meeting that you have to follow?
Formal meeting?
Of course. Kena buat apa? First,
First, chairman opening address. Is it?
yes, opening address. Second,
The second one, apologies for absent.
yes, check the attendance. And then after that,
Number three, matters arising.
yes, okay.
Number four, other matters.
Other matters. And then,
And number five, setting the next meeting. And the last one, closing address.
okay, very good. Okay, make sure that in your assessment later you follow all of that. Okay, if you miss one of it, then your mark will be deducted as a group. Okay. All right. So, do you have any question before we end this mid session? I think that's all that I have for you guys for today. Any question? Yes, question, no question.
We just use the previous setting, like the previous interview setting, like I mean, how do we say that? The meeting is pretty much like the previous review, like Miss.
Yes, but this time around it is based on your group, the grouping that you choose lah. But I will provide the schedule, which group will go in which week, like the interview session. If you have, you can only choose if you prefer to go first. Understand or not? You boleh datang, Miss saya nak jadi group first. Tu boleh. Kalau tiba-tiba you datang, Miss saya nak jadi group last, cannot. Understand?
Yes,
Okay?
Miss.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, understand. Alright. Okay. I guess you guys don't have any more question, right? So that's all for this week. Next week there be no class. Next week will be FOC. But you have to make sure that you complete the weekly task next week. And then the schedule, the timetable, which group will go on which week will be also posted next week. What else? Other than that, I think that's all. Thank you for joining into today's, before that, attendance. Adila Husna, present. Aiman Hilmi? No. Alif Imaduddin?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Amira Izzati?
Yes, Miss.
Amirul Zarif?
Yes, Miss.
Nis Sofia?
Yes, Miss.
Arina? Arina?
Yes, Miss.
Arthur?
Yes, Miss.
Atika? Atika Liana?
Yes, Miss.
Boni? Yes. Dina?
Yes, Miss.
Alisa? Alif Haikal?
Yes, Miss.
Aiman Muhammad Syarin?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Amirul Amri?
Yes, Miss.
Daniel?
Yes, Miss.
Fahmi?
Yes, Miss.
Azim?
Yes, Miss.
Nelly?
Yes, Miss.
Niha?
Yes, Miss.
Sarah?
Yes, Miss.
Adriana?
Yes, Miss.
Ain? Ain Huda? Ain
Yes,
Huda? Alia?
Yes, Miss.
Arisha? Arisha? Adfina?
Yes, Miss.
Ain Natasha?
Yes, Miss.
Aurelia Natasha,
Yes, Miss.
Suhaili,
Yes, Miss.
Atika,
Yes, Miss.
Syafiqah Adila,
Yes, Miss.
Rushaidi,
Yes, miss.
Taswi, Siti, Siti Nur Fazliana,
Yes, Miss.
Siti Nurul Ain,
Yes, Miss.
Wong,
Yes, Miss.
Yashini.
Yes, Miss.
Alright. So Aiman Hilmi.
Miss,
Uh,
Miss, I was
where were you?
my internet connection is problem maybe.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
Alright. Okay, so I see you in 2 weeks time during the mid what is it? Meeting assessment. Okay. And don't forget to make a preparation. Select the which situation that you want to deliver during your meeting assessment later. Alright. So stay safe everyone. Take care of yourself and I see you and I see you. Okay, thank you for sending your prayers to my father, and if you are willing, still send because he is still intubated. Haven't yet, the lung is still in bad condition. Hopefully me and my sibling and my family are all waiting for the news from the doctor, and hopefully he will recover soon. Okay, thank you for all your prayers to my father, and if you have the chance, please to continue to make dua for him. And also please pray for our friend Shasha who is stranded because of the flood. Okay. And also let's pray hard that our place here in Pago is not affected by the flood, because the amaran, the warning given by the meteorology department said that Muar is one of uh, the place in kawasan berjaga-jaga lah. Alright, so let's all pray that we in safe condition and away from any harm, insyaAllah. Alright, so for Muslim, let's end this mid session with tasbih kifara and wal'as, and thank you everyone. Have a good lunch after this. Bye bye.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you,
Bye.
Miss.
Thank you,
Bye.
miss.
Thank you, Miss. Take care,
Thank you,
Miss.
Miss.
Bye, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Take care,
Thank you,
Miss.
Miss.
Stay safe, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Welcome. Bye bye.
Miss, you already take my attendance, right?
Yes.
Take my attendance. Alright.
Yes. I
Thank
saw
you,
it too.
Miss.
That's why. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
See you
Miss.
soon.
Yes, Alia.
Miss, for where,
Mm-hmm.
how can we register in UTHN?
Apa dia? Muat.
Muat.
Uh, you have to ask your task force, PPD task force. Dia ada each faculty, they have their muat task force. So you have to check with your center lah, center you PPD kan. So you tanya who is in charge of muat for your center. Okay, kalau dia tak bagi, you go to PPA.
Oh,
Tak
okay.
ada. Alright,
Okay,
because
okay.
if you ask me, our center just provide like workshop to prepare you guys. We are not in charge of helping you to register. Okay? Okay, Alia.
Tapi kan, Miss,
Hmm.
kat UTHN ada kan? Muat.
Yes,
Eh?
I think UTM is one of the center to assess for MUET. But I don't know whether you can register through UTHM or not, because most of the time our for diploma students, they most of them they register on their own. They go to mana? They go to the website and they just purchase the PIN number there and they register as calon persendirian lah, lebih kurang. That's from what I know of your senior. But if you want to register through UTHM, you have to check with the PPA as well as your faculty web task force. Okay, Alia?
Okay.
Alright.
Thank you, Miss.
When do you plan to take the exam? This year?
Next year.
Oh, next year. Okay. Alright. Oh, yelah, this year dah habis. Lupa pula. Bisa confused lah. Okay. Alright. Take care. Have a good lunch. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Miss.
Bye, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.